Good evening. My name is Hilaire Rai. Today I want to present about six simple machine. Six simple machine all is very useful to daily routine. There are six simple machine that always used in daily routine. Today I want to present about lever, wheel, wheel and axle and pulley. Lever is used to make our effort less. For example, we can use plier to make our job easy. That's all. Second, well and axle is can use as a mechanism that can make our fan, chair for disability, and that can make our daily routine easy. The pulley is mechanism that can use to lift a load, for example crane, that's well used in industrial. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shayansha Ali binti Samsuraman. My student ID is 1220104096. So I would like to continue to present about the six simple machines. About the incline plane, it also known as a ram consists of a sloping surface. It is used for raising heavy bodies in the form of loading rams to load and unload goods on trucks, ships, and planes. The planes offer a mechanical advantage in that the force required to move an object up the incline is less than the weight being raised, discounting friction. The steeper the slope or incline, the more nearly the required force approach the actual weight. So the principle of the inclined plane is used widely, for example in ramps and switchback roads, where a small force acting for a distance along a slope can do a large amount of work. Next, the wedges are moving inclined planes that are driven onto lots to lift or into a lot to split or spread. It is usually made of metal or wood and is used for splitting, lifting, or tightening, as in securing a hammer head into its handle. A longer, thinner wedge gives more mechanical advantage than a shorter, wider wedge, but a wedge does something else. The main function of a wedge is to change the direction of the input force. For example, if we want to split a log, we can drive a wedge downward into the end of the log with great force using a sledgehammer, and the wedge will redirect this force outward, causing the wood to split. Therefore, a screw is an inclined plane wrapped around a cylindrical post with a continuous helical rib, uses either as a fastener or as a force and motion modifier. It is used to hold objects together or to lift objects by rotating it. So, for example, include screws used in woodworking or in holding materials together. Some good example of screws are bolts, screws, bottle tops, guitar turners, light bulbs, faucet taps, and cork openers. Mechanical advantage for screws is it depends on the space between the threads and the length and thickness of the screw. So the closer the threads are, the greater the mechanical advantage. In conclusion, simple machines play a fundamental role in our daily lives, and it has significant practical application across various fields. They provide mechanical advantages that make work easier by multiplying or redirecting force, changing the direction of motion, or altering the amount of force required. Simple machines, including levers, pulleys, inclined planes, wedges, spurs and wheels and axles, are the building blocks of more complex machinery. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Ikwan bin Samsudin. Today, I will present about chain and sprocket. Electric motor, internal combustion engine and one generator will provide rotation, motion and the driving shaft as their output. Rotational motion and force produced by the power source must be transferred to a device that can put that energy to good use. Transmission of motion and force from a mechanism output drive shaft to another shaft is another accomplished by gear, belt and pulley system, chain and sprocket system or crank and coupler system. In this section, we'll discuss how a chain and sprocket may be used to convey motion and force from the output shaft of a power source to other section of machine. A sprocket is a wheel T that may be attached to a shaft. Using a key to fit into keyways into the sprocket and shaft. It is locked in place on the shaft and stopped from spinning. Two sprockets are linked together by a chain. The driving sprocket is one of the gear. The driven sprocket is the other sprocket in the system. The chain connect the sprocket, allowing motion and force to be delivered from one shaft to another. Power transmission chain are chains used to transfer mechanical energy from one sprocket to another sprocket. 6 distinct types of electric transmission network exist, especially chains type 1 used as bicycle, motorcycle and automotive chains. Chain and sprocket have advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is of chain driven in comparison to the majority of belt drive. Since the chain and sprocket together produce a positive non-slip drive, that means that the chain cannot slip on the sprocket because the teeth of the sprocket prevent the chain from sliding. And their disadvantage is a system that driven by a belt and pulley has the benefit being less costly than one that is driven by a chain and sprocket. Although the former may be rather loud because chain and sprocket drive do not allow slip. They are not employed for particular applications such as drilling, mechanical and ladders. This is the main reason for this.
Hello everyone, my name is Philomena Selena Napilipsu and today I'm gonna talk about welding safety. So welding is a fabrication process whereby two or more parts are fused together by means of heat, pressures or where both forming a joint as the parts cool. Welding is first discovered by the Egyptians during the Iron Age. They learned how to weld pieces of iron together. In 1881, Russian inventor Nicolae Bernardos introduced carbon arc welding, which is the first practical arc welding methods of its time. Other than that, welding safety measures are designed to protect employees from welding hazards. It can be implemented implemented by conducting a proper training, inspecting welding equipment, and ensuring workers are aware of safety precautions before performing welding activities. This is to minimize the risk of health and safety injuries.
So the next is why the welding is very important, because welding is a hazardous workplace activity which exposes over 500,000 workers to health and safety risks each year. So the welding safety measures are designed to protect employees from welding hazards. Welding safety can be implemented by conducting a proper training, inspecting welding equipment, and ensuring the workers are in safety and precaution before they are performing welding activities to minimize the risk of health and safety injuries. Then the next is what kind of hazard to welder encounter. The greatest hazard that welder must deal with is fire. Fire prevention is a key to maintaining safe operation of welding machines. Hot work, which include welding, requires that all combustible material be removed from the welding environment prior to work beginning. If all combustible material cannot be removed, they must be protected from flame or sparks. Workers must also ensure that the equipment and personal effect like clothing and gas cylinders are protected from fire. The next hazard is the dangerous part, and it's called chemical to of gas during their welding work. OSHA provides specific instruction on dealing with the potential of gassing while working with chromium and cadmium. When working with these metals, welders must have appropriate respiratory protection. It also can a welder may suffer or cuts eye damage, burns, or crush extremities. The best way to protect worker to wear required PPE is mean personal protective equipment. So the welder are susceptible to electric shock. The most common type is from an arc welding circuit, which range from 20 to 100 watt. Shock of 50 watt or less can enough injury to kill a worker depending on the conditions. And there are four types of common hazard that the welder face it. The first is the fumes and gases. The second is a physical hazard. The third is a electric shock. The fourth is fire and explosion. Then the next part is there's a few tips to beware the welders from the hazardous. The first tip is a provide adequate ventilation and local exhaust to keep fumes and gases from the breathing zone and the general zone. The second is report concern to a supervisor so your exposure to substance of the welding fumes can be checked. The third is fire and electricity resistant clothing. Hand shield, welding gloves, apron, and the boots can be worn to protect workers from the heat, fire, electric, and burns. Take note that flames retardant treatment become less efficient with repeated laundering. Pants leg must not have cuffs and must cover the top of the boots. Cuffs can collect sparks. Ear muff and ear plug can also protect against the workers and noise. So the last is if welding within 35 feet of flammable material, must put a piece of sheet metal or fire resistant blanket over the flammable material and have fire watcher nearby to keep track of sparks.
So in the conclusions, employers must make sure that the employees are following the welding safety to avoid any injuries. This is because gases may also build up as they are used the welding process. If you don't follow the safe system of work when entering an area where there is a large amount of inert gas, you are risking death from asphyxiation. If the amount of inert gas is high enough, you won't cough, splutters, pants, or feel breathless. It is also important to comply with safety, such as wearing the proper PPE, which is the personal protective equipment. Because with this, welders can avoid experiencing a variety of physical hazards, including eye damage, cuts, burns, or even crotch, toes, or fingers. This should be taken seriously as they could put a welder out of work in some ways. Thank you. That's all from me.